This is my version of a farting robot. I developed him several years ago, called him Uncle Bubba Franklin. One of my first videos was on this, how I actually constructed him, made the head, sculpting it, the body, put it together, and so forth. Recently, my son was out with my grandchildren, and they didn't like him. But while my son was here, he suggested I just do a short video focusing on a couple of the switches that I use to activate some things. So just going to show you, first of all, what he does. This is silicone rubber tubing down here on the floor. It goes to a pressure switch, which I'll show you in a minute, a little close up. And it's can be adjusted to operate on as low as 3 psi. So when I fill this tubing with water, it's incompressible. It doesn't take much of standing on it to make it trigger. And also the fart sounds are provided by this fart machine too. And it's actually excellent. I mean, this thing does an outstanding job of kind of laughable but quality, long-lasting fart sounds. It really works pretty good. I modified the remote control, just the switch part of it. I didn't mess with the wireless radio transmission part of it. So with a Mercury switch down here, and you can see that right there. That's it. It's level sensing, so that when you hear it, when he rocks up, it triggers the fart sound. I've got air cylinders in here to make him raise up. I've got a balloon in here to make it swell up like he's full of gas, and he'll raise forward. And I'll show you what he looks like. We'll step on our pressure switch here. Now, if you do it quickly, it just does that. Now you'll hear an air compressor run in a minute when I hold it down. And you see how he leans forward. And so everything's air operated except for the fart machine. So we'll take a closer look at how I wired that switch on the remote control, and also the pressure switch down here. And this is the remote control, which I modified to operate off this Mercury level sensing switch. That's that right there. And you probably can't see it too well. There's like a little ball of mercury in there. And when this thing rocks around, it makes contact and basically does the function of a switch. I didn't mess with the wireless radio electronics. This is the circuit board from inside an older fart machine 2 remote control switch. Basically what I did was this contact right here, I soldered a lead onto it, didn't make contact with the one right behind it, and then put another lead over here. All that does really is it's wired in parallel with the switch. It's not doing anything to the radio transmission of it, so that works as normal. But it just basically bypasses the switch so that I can use that Mercury switch. And if you look at the other side of this thing, see, this is where the switch would be. That's the little LED light that comes on. So you don't need to do anything on that side of it. It would just be this side. You gotta be careful doing stuff like this. You don't want to do anything that could short circuit, cause a fire, or anything like that. I'm always careful when I'm messing around like this. But I thought it might be of interest to someone who would like to do something like this. So, okay, this is where I modified the remote control. Took it apart. There's a button here. You can hear that. Okay, now if you watch, I'm going to short circuit the wires. See, it works. First of all, I've got a cover plate on the electronics in here just for safety, for electrical safety. We'll take that off, take a look at the pressure switch inside of there. Okay, first of all, this tubing, which is filled with water, is connected to this T here with a little valve here. I can either put water in or let some out through that if I want to. It's just like a bypass. This is the, let's zoom in a little bit here so if we can see it a little bit better. Okay, this is the pressure switch. It's made by Omega Engineering. We'll see if we can turn that around so you can see that in there. I bought this probably 10 years ago. You can adjust the pressure sensitivity. Goes all the way up to 30 psi. I've got it at the lowest setting, which is around 3 psi, so it takes very little pressure. You can see just my hand on it will activate it. What this switch does is it provides voltage, 120 volts actually, to a 120 volt solenoid, that blue rectangular box to the left there with the tubing going into it. The rest of this is air compressor and air reservoir and that sort of thing. But it works actually very well. You could use this switch to make just about anything that you wanted to activate. And it doesn't have to be 120 volts. It could be something lower than that. So I hope you enjoyed this video and found it of interest. As I said before, I just wanted to focus on just these two switches here. If you want to see more detail on the whole boring construction of how I sculpted the head and put the whole body together, you can click on a link at the end of this video and that'll take you there. Plus, there's also a subscribe button. We hope you'll like this and subscribe. Thank you.